The Massachusetts Special Commission on Combating Antisemitism produced a statewide roadmap for helping employers recognize, prevent, and respond to antisemitism in the workplace. In this video, we will focus on several of the Commission's clearest workplace recommendations. Employers, executives, managers, and HR professionals will be able to assess whether their current policies and practices adequately address antisemitism and identify a manageable next step. Employees, allies, and Jewish employee resource groups will learn what the report gives them the basis to ask for and what the employer is ultimately responsible for implementing. No employer is expected to do everything at once or to do it alone. CJP's Center for Combating Antisemitism and our partners can help workplaces identify priorities, find appropriate resources, and begin implementation. If you do not know where to begin, please reach out to us. So, what does the Commission's final report say a prepared workplace should have in place, and how can an employer realistically get started?
What the Commission's recommendations say and recognize about workplaces are that Jewish inclusion and belonging are essential for thriving workplaces. So I would start first with workplace education and policy. It recommends that workplace education, like we have training and education programs in the workplace, should also include contemporary antisemitism. And we work with workplaces across Greater Boston to help enable that and to bring contemporary antisemitism training to, through their DEI practices, through HR, and those provide safe and brave spaces for people to understand both the experiences of Jewish employees and how contemporary antisemitism is manifesting. Also in policies, anti-discrimination and harassment policies should identify antisemitism as part of those policies, and policies and expectations should be clearly communicated to employees. In some ways, these are basic baselines for having inclusive workplaces in general. And so the real ask there for workplaces is to ensure that includes Jews, Jewish experiences, Jewish identity as well.
What should an employee be able to expect after raising a concern?
Second major bucket that I would point to is also just reporting and response. The Commission heard from the experiences of some Jewish employees that have experienced direct anti-Semitism incidents inside the workplace, particularly in sort of direct service lines of work. They heard experiences from healthcare, and we've also been supporting and hearing from them in ensuring that there are reporting processes in place for anti-Semitism and incidents is really important. Employees should understand who to report to, who will receive the concern, who's going to follow up on it, and also that they trust that employers are going to respond to those incidents when they happen. And obviously an employer should be investigating those kinds of incidents as well.
We've established the responsibilities for employers as well as what an employee should expect when raising a concern. Let's talk about employee resource groups and what the report has to say about those.
Yeah, so the report recognizes employee resource groups and affinity groups as a proven mechanism or vehicle to achieve inclusion, belonging for Jewish employees at a workplace, and to also be able to achieve those first two recommendations that we talked about: greater training and education, and ensuring reporting and investigative procedures as well. We also saw the need for employers to recognize similarly their role in addressing Jewish inclusion and belonging in the workplace. And in order to do that, Jewish employees had to be part of that conversation, and also those best poised to actually identify gaps in their institutions and identify the solutions are the ones that are part of those institutions. And so Jewish employees, through formal resource groups or affinity groups or, networking groups, play a really, really important role to be able to not only support each other, but also increase cultural celebration, education. Some of the research that the Commission cites show that 46% of Jewish employee resource group members and leaders that were part of that survey actually joined after October 7th. And so there's incredible momentum and interest behind this work. And we've seen that. So here at CJP, CCA, for the past 2 years, we've been convening Jewish Employee Resource Group leaders similarly and bringing them together across Greater Boston and helping them not only network, but also give them leadership skills and tools to be able to do this work inside the workplace. So just this winter, we had about 60 Jewish Employee Resource Group leaders, along with business leaders, who were really dedicated to building this effort within the, greater, Boston workplace environment. And so I think that is one of the glimmers that I see and I'm really excited about. And the commission really validates that those experiences, validates the impact of those groups. And I think really supports, if you're an employer, to understand whether a Jewish Employee Resource Group would be helpful at your corporation. And if it exists, be able to connect with it, listen to it, and create space to develop relationships with it.
The report really leans into recommendations about recognizing Jewish American Heritage Month, which is a nationally recognized cultural heritage every May. But why is that so important in the workplace?
Greater understanding of the Jewish American experience at large. It really can help employees understand Jewish identity, deeper education understanding about the diversity of our community as well. So through cultural events and celebrations, through broader outside of the workplace events and celebrations, I think it really is that kind of education tool and also a tool for Jewish employees to feel proud of their identity and the way that they're able to bring their full selves and their full identity to work as well. Employers also can naturally and organically fit Jewish American Heritage Month celebrations also into their calendar of other cultural celebrations that they may be doing. For example, here at CJP, we do education programming around Black History Month, for example, and Women's History Month. And to be able to fit that into an already existing calendar or cadence where employees are also organically learning about cultural celebrations or communities sometimes just makes a lot of sense and is much more organic for workplaces rather than feeling that they are responding to crisis or incident.
What is a manageable first step for an employer or an employee trying to move this work forward?
First, review whether anti-Semitism is explicitly included in policy and education at your workplace, in trainings. Assess whether reporting mechanisms are clearly understood and are up to date, and determine whether Jewish employees have those spaces. The most manageable and productive step before determining whether or not those groups exist is understanding whether those kinds of systems or structures, such as a Jewish Employee Resource Group, if they don't exist, would be helpful. So listening spaces is incredibly important. And then identify improvements, identify gaps and identify improvements using the Commission's report. And if you're an employee and an employee resource group, similarly, identify the gaps in your experience, identify what you've been experiencing as a Jewish employee at your workplace, how you can work with your employer to improve policies, to improve trainings, and to improve overall inclusion and belonging. And so use the Commission's recommendation to achieve and further your workplace's goal towards increasing inclusion and belonging in your workplace.